Hey guys, how is it all going? So, as always, thank you so much for joining me for what is The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 8. And this episode starts off with Joel still fatally injured from the encounter that he had at the university, and Ellie is doing her best to look after him and trying to keep him alive. So Ellie goes out to the woods next to where they're holed up, and she's trying to find food for them. It's like she's trying to get a rabbit, or she's trying to get a deer, she's trying to get anything. Anyway, she manages to tackle a deer down. And unfortunately for Ellie, she comes across two gentlemen who are part of a cult in the nearby town. And these two gentlemen are called David and James, with David being the leader. Now, David is a Bible-thumping psychopath, to say the least. And he is played by an actor called Scott Shepherd, who I thought did a tremendous job playing David in this episode. Exactly the same as the game. He just had the right amount of creepiness about him, and just someone that you just wouldn't want to be around. And there's a new character who's not in the game called James, who was played by Troy Baker, who, if you don't know Troy Baker, he motion captured and voiced Joel in the Last of Us game and did a fantastic job in that, but also did a fantastic job in this episode as this character James. I thought he was brilliant, to be fair. Anyway, they have a little exchange and a little conversation where Ellie would offer the food up to them if they can get medicine. And Ellie's telling them, oh, I'm from a big group as well, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, David agrees to this, sends James off to get the medicine. He's going to be a little while. So Ellie and David decide to hold up in a little cabin not far away to try and stay warm and wait till James comes back with the medicine. This is where we find out that David knows that she's not with a big group of people, that she was with one man, that he is hurt because the gentleman that hurt Joel, who Joel killed, was part of their group, which obviously gets Ellie's back up and gets her under the fence. James comes back. David tells James to give Ellie the medicine and let her go. Ellie gets the medicine and runs off. Gets back to Joel, manages to give him the shot of what he needs. But unfortunately for Ellie, David, James, I've got a few more men, are coming to track her down. They find Ellie and kidnap her and take her back to their town where their cult is. Joel wakes up, is not happy, sees that Ellie's been abducted, and goes to get Ellie back. And it is one of my favourite parts of the game. It really is. Like, when you play as Joel in this part of the game, all you want to do is just get to Ellie and save her. That's all you want. Because you find out, as you're playing Joel, and as the TV show, as we're following Joel, you find out that this cult are actually cannibals. Now, not all of them know that they're cannibals. I think it's like probably just David, obviously David, James, and a couple of others probably know that they are eating people, but the rest of the people that are involved in this cult in the town, just trying to survive, don't know that they're eating people, and probably eating their friends who have gone missing, who have died. And that is just a horrible thought, isn't it? Like, I just couldn't imagine even being in that situation. But it was such a great part of the game, especially when you're with Joel and you're just wiping all these people out and you're torturing people just to get information on where Ellie is. And this episode plays out pretty much as the game did. Now, I only have one slight little nitpick. I wish they did in this episode. And the part where Ellie and David are talking with each other in a little cabin. In the game, it gets interrupted by infected, and you and David have to fight them off. I kind of wish they had this in this episode. I was waiting for it to happen. As they were talking in the cabin over the fire, I was waiting just to hear like a clicker sound or an infected sound coming towards them. And I wish they did it. I did. I just wish that it didn't have to play exactly the same as the game. But I just wish there was maybe 3-4 clickers that kind of showed up and they would have to work with each other to take them down. I wish we saw that. But it's a tiny nitpick, because this episode was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And like I say, I thought Troy Baker did a fantastic job. I thought Scott Shepherd as David did a fantastic job. And I will say this, Bella Ramsey was brilliant. Brilliant in this episode. I mean, she's been brilliant anyway, but like, she really stood out in this episode for me. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. And especially a performance near the end when she's literally just hammering that hatchet into David at the end, you know, just could just see that raw just emotion of being scared and angry and vulnerable and all in that one little bit of her performance, and it was just brilliant to watch and heartbreaking to watch at the same time, because it's a heartbreaking part of the game as well, especially when Joel finally gets to her. And I loved in the series in this where he called her baby girl and everything, like he used to call his daughter Sarah, and it was just like, oh man, stop breaking my heart. You know what I mean? But it was such a lovely way to end this episode. What can I say? I say this every week. It's a 5 out of 5. The series is an absolute masterpiece. Continues to be. And I'm no doubt that the last episode is going to be just as great as this episode. And it's probably going to be one of the best TV shows I have ever watched. So guys, what did you think of this episode? Did you really enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Are you the same as me? Did you wish they kept that part in the game when the infected interrupted them? Just for a little bit of action. I don't know. It's a tiny, tiny nitpick. I just wish we could have seen it, but we didn't, and it's fine. But anyway, guys, whatever your thoughts is, please leave in the comments below. Like I say, it is absolutely always a pleasure hearing from you. And guys, as always, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.